Oh, everybody, we're live, man.
We made it. Welcome back, everybody. It's the first weekly SEO jam of 2025. We got the man himself. It always mirrors it in my thing. There we go. We got the Lane Train, Lane Houk. For those of you guys who don't know him, he has probably been doing SEO 20 years, Lane, almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Two decades. And so I'll tell you, like, you see a lot of changes in the Google algorithm in that time. And
how about the last 3 months?
Yeah. And you know, like, get to see how wild and crazy. One of the questions that we wanted to jam with you guys on today is a few of you guys are asking about, like, how do I do a GBP audit? How do I, like, actually present this stuff to a client so they look at it and they go, I want to use you guys, and you guys seem to know what you're doing and know what you're talking about. And I have a couple of ideas on that, but I would love to firstly hear your thoughts on it, Lane, because I don't know about you, but I've probably made, I don't know, 1,000 of these SEO audits, maybe even more than that over the years. And there is definitely an art and a science to it, of like presenting it in a way where clients get it and they want to move forward. But let's talk about firstly, like, what's important here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, first of all, Happy New Year to everybody. Really hope you ended the 2024 year with a bang and are excited about the upcoming 2025 and all the opportunities that are out there. And yeah, so Frankie and I were talking about this. What could we talk about today to kick off the new year and the weekly SEO jam session? And GBP audits is a big part of client acquisition. And oftentimes after you have them as a client, you want to do maybe an audit every once in a while after you've got the campaign going. Although you're going to have reporting in place, which will kind of be more of your audit or your litmus test as to how things are going and what success you're having on that GBP listing as time travels on. But so the first things when it comes to GBP audits, and let's talk about it in terms of we're approaching a prospect, right? That's what we're talking about, Frankie. Yeah. So we're looking at, we want to acquire, let's say it's a roofing company, and I'm outside Denver, Colorado. So I'll use that here as a kind of as an example, and I will share my screen real quick.
I love the Inception thing it does right when you share your screen on
yeah, right, that
on StreamYard. Yeah, there you go.
All right, so the first thing I'll do is I will let's just say I've already done this, but I'm getting ready to do this for a client. But I will do like roofing companies near me, and I will do okay. And so a couple of things that I'll do is I'll tee up some of the different SERPs and see what I'm getting, number one. And then I'll have those, so I can see, well, who's really kind of is anybody like appearing, any of these competitors appearing in the SERPs over and over again? So, we just kind of, and this, you can see how Google's been changing even the Bold Brothers, Colorado. See, that's a different one. I'll look at all the tried and true. I say tried and true is showing up more than one. So I only got tried and true showing up in kind of two of these.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes, but I would say probably more frequently you'll see kind of the same name 16 times. There's usually like one person who's kind of
tried and true, Colorado. Okay, so these two are showing up in a couple of different ones. Yeah, so these two are really kind of the dominating competitors here, let's say. So, let's say I'm looking, Bold Brothers showed up in one, but didn't show up in any of the other ones. And then obviously, if I'm going after a competitor, I might go over to page 2 and just find, everyone. Bold Brothers is down here again. Bold Brothers, number 4 again. So Bold Brothers would be a really good like prospect because they're like in number 4 spot for a lot of these keywords. They're in on the page 1 for one of them, down in the 3rd spot. But I bet if I kept doing more and more terms, we'd see Bold Brothers kind of showing up in that 3 to 6 spot, right? And so they'd probably be a really good prospect because they're just on the fringe of being able to move them into the page 1. So you can have quick wins with those types of prospects versus if I come over here and I'm like down here over looking at Integrity Pro, well, they don't show up anywhere and they're like in the number, like what, 8, 9, 10 spot. You know, that's going to be a harder prospect to get some quick wins for. Doesn't mean they can't happen, but you know, just as a quick, excuse me, a quick scan here, I would probably pick Bull Brothers, and then I would compare them to Colorado Superior and Tried and True. And so a couple of tools that I'm using here and would use, you can see them here, the SERP checker. Okay, this is using the Phantom GMB Audit Tool. So you can just go ahead and look for that, you know, and get it if you want. It's a Chrome extension. It is a paid tool if you want more features on it. So that's one thing that you can use. I'm also using this, what is this? GS-location changer extension. It allows me to change my browser location to any given location, zip code, whatever I want. And then all the search results that I get are then going to be localized to wherever I've put here. So it just fixes my location in the browser and gives me localized SERP results that I can actually do. You know, so I'm actually looking as if I'm a user directly in that location. Right. The last one that I'll use. So let's go over to Tried and True, and I click on it. Once I click into a GBP listing. I don't know why this is taking long to load. Okay, this will load here, and then I have I am using.
Can I just say you've never had Mexican internet if you thought that was a slow load time?
Right. Good internet. So my Plopper Chrome extension is not loading. I wonder why.
Well, it's not loading. If we could talk a little bit about like what you're looking for that you're trying to show to a client. Like I think you do this kind of a little bit intuitively.
Yep.
But...
So immediately I'm looking for what is their primary category. And that's going to be the first category that you see. So like right now, Google's not giving us that category. It's giving us their services they put in there, but it isn't telling us exactly what the category is in this. That's really strange. It's not loading. And then Plopper, I use the Plopper Chrome extension. So you can go look for that, get an API and an API key from them, and then I don't know why it's not loading. Let me just disable it. Yeah, maybe they Google made a change in the browser and they haven't updated it. I don't know. Sometimes that can happen.
Yeah.
You just replace.
Can I just add something while this loads? I think the biggest thing with these audits, and I don't think enough marketers understand this, because what they're trying to sell is what I call future gain, which is, you know, like I call it Frankie Finn's more Emporium, where you get you more leads and more sales and more customers and more and come down to more and more. The problem with that is that's a tomorrow kind of thing. Like it would be nice to win the lottery in 12 months kind of thing. But I think where the rubber meets the road for most of these clients is you actually have to make the argument and show them you're losing business today. So like if I was doing this for a roofing company, I'd say, hey, like Tried and True Roofing is kicking your ass, and they're probably taking like, you know, a couple $100,000 a month in roofing jobs from what they're getting from search, and they only got like what 59 reviews. Like they're not like unbeatable here. And so, and almost always, by the way, like especially with local businesses, I've found that they know their top competitor by name. They universally hate them. And like attorneys would always say to me, like, that guy, he's never even tried a fucking case. Like, how you tell me that guy's the top lawyer in Google? He's a fucking terrible lawyer.
Right.
And or, you know, he's a hack. He does terrible work. And they'll say things like that. In different industries, it sounds like different things. But that creates the necessary emotional, I got a problem today, hair on fire that I want to solve. And I don't think enough people understand that, because they present all the benefits tomorrow, but don't drive home like you're actually losing today. And by the way, you can do this very ethically, because what you're saying is a true statement. Like if they're not tried and true roofing, they're losing business to tried and true roofing. Because in essence, like Google is acting like a referral partner for these guys simply because they've done a better job optimizing their listing, filling out the photos, setting up their category and their hours and their location and getting reviews and like really just doing the basics. It doesn't actually mean they're a better roofing company. But I say this to you guys because if you don't present to them a problem that needs to be solved now and that needs action now, you will make some sales. But what you'll find is there's a lot of like they delay, they take their time, they go send me a proposal. There's a lot of back and forth. The minute they recognize that they're losing
money, yeah,
like suddenly that sales journey shortens dramatically. In my experience,
that's a really good point. Yeah. Yeah, you got to tie this to the fact that they're, so rather than, going through this, multiple times, like I might, if I was really going to go after Bold Brothers, I'd really want to know what tried and true and what Colorado Superior is doing well, so that I at least have a good indicator of what Google is liking. But, as far as it comes to Bold Brothers, so with the Phantom Audit Tool, okay, that's this one here. Once it's loaded in with the Chrome extension, you can see their only category is roofing contractor, as compared to Colorado Superior, which has multiple categories, and then tried and true again only has one category listed. So some interesting things there. What you can do with the Phantom Audit Tool is you can get the export. You can just click on it. You can get the post audit, the photo audit, and the review audit. And so what'll happen is you can click in review audit, and you can actually just then see Phantom's going to go ahead and do this quick audit, and it's going to tell you, all right, here's what their reviews are, blah, 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 and it's going to give you some insight on all of their reviews. Okay. And so there you go. It's complete. And it takes you over to this, and then it gives you, their review velocity. Okay. It gives you their cumulative reviews, so it just keeps adding it up. But you can see they have very little review velocity going on. Total number of reviews, average star rating, blah, blah, blah. Most recent review, frequency, last 90 days. It gives you a keyword analysis. So that's just some data that you can show to the prospect and say, here's one of the things that, is in our audit of your overall online presence. This is one of the things that we found about your reviews. And then I think we got that from right here. Yep. And then you can also pick, let's say, post out. You want to see how often are they posting on their GBP listing, and then obviously you can do the same thing with photos. So you can get this data very quickly using the Phantom GBP Audit Tool. I think they call it the GMB Audit Tool. Yeah. And that will help you just get some data, and you can actually just get to see how active are they really. This is kind of one of the gauges I get from Phantom is, are they really active, or are they just kind of spotting here, a post here, a review there, and it's really not very active. You can see someone's not really pushing it, managing it, putting on regular posts, updating regular photos, and then really on top of review management. So that's what the Phantom tool can do for you. Obviously, what I want to do also is go look at their website. So, if I look at their website, I want to look for weaknesses, things that I can find that I can put into them that are leading to them not quite getting into page one on the majority of the SERPs that we're checking at least. Okay, so here we got our service areas. So I want to go in here and I want to look. I'm going to bet that these are very thin pages and almost all completely, if they are even pages, which they are not.
Yeah.
So these aren't even pages. These are just,
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but when you through your eyes, you're looking for opportunities of like, because I think most clients are looking for a real tangible plan of action, and one might be, hey, you guys need location pages for all of these things, right? Like if you guys want to rank for all these different
100%.
locations, you need content for that, and then it positions you as the one to actually help them build it. But you want to show them, and this is something, by the way, that I actually learned from you. You still learn new stuff after like almost 20 years of this. Is you showed me that one of the easiest things to present to a client is what I call the low-hanging fruit, because ultimately they don't want wishy-washy months of SEO and not getting any phone calls. What they ultimately want is to know where the business is going to come from. And one of the things you showed me is there's almost always, if they've taken this seriously at all in the last 10 years, their sort of online, presence, there's almost opportunities, what I call like red zone opportunities, where they're, like the NFL equivalent of like, yeah, you're almost close enough to kick a field goal. And I remember when we were doing some of our audits, we would find keywords where clients were 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. Like they weren't far from a touchdown. It wasn't like they were starting on page 20 with no reviews and no pages and no content, and then we were trying to get them to number 1. It was more like, hey, you're 85 yards up the field already, and if we make these couple of tweaks, like we can be at least kicking a field goal and getting 3 points from here. And you showed me that almost always, like if a business has been around for even a little while, there are these like what I would call like red zone opportunities. And they're a great thing to present to a client, because now you're showing them like, this is where the business is actually going to come from. Like you're number 7 here, but if we get you into the top 3, which is only 4 more spots, 5 more spots, then, like you'll start getting phone calls from there. You have enough reviews already. Like I look at this Bold Brothers, like they got more reviews. They look just like worse optimized. Like to me, that would be a relatively easy client to help, because they actually have like a lot of pieces in place. And so, just saying that, like, instead of saying to clients, like, we're going to build you citations and this many links and this many posts, it's a totally different thing to say, hey, you're already 85 yards down the field here. We just want to take you another 15.
Yeah, exactly. And so we can take this, you can go into your GBP or GeoGrid software, whichever one you use. And I was going to point out here more. So they got these services in here, but look, almost all of them don't have any description at all. Like there's a few of them that have where they put in a few, they put in a little descriptor there.
Yeah.
But majority, so, just filling these out with optimizing. This is where, these are quick wins, by just filling all this out. The algorithm is going to see all that content, obviously, and it's going to be good. There's nothing bad's going to happen by adding an optimized description to each of these services here, right?
Yeah. And they probably could stand to remove a few of them, because it's not like you want to sell them all.
Yeah.
There's an 80-20 there that's probably hurting them by trying to, that to me at least, I don't know, that looks like keyword stuff to me.
Yeah. I don't know if that will see that or not. I don't know. There it is. So
yeah, I'll tell you just a little bit while Lane is doing this. For me, what I've always kind of like done that works for us is I show them where they are. I show them where their top competitor is. Then I use data to tell them why there's a gap between them. And then I describe what I would do immediately, short term, medium term, long term, to close that gap. And it has to be like kind of real and tangible. Like, hey, I'm going to fix these category things. I'm going to update this. I'm going to change this H1 tag on your website. I'm going to upload, or I'm going to change this title tag. I'm going to build some links on these sites because it'll help with A, B, and C. But the more you can show them, like, you're here, your competitor's here, you're losing money now, and this is what I would do to fill the gap. I find like just doing that will help you sell a lot of SEO, and do it in a way where people like actually understand what it is you're doing. Because I'll tell you, somebody who I don't know, for like 15 years I couldn't tell friends and family what I did for a living. I'm sure a lot of you guys struggle with trying to tell people what SEO even is.
And this is an easy one to sell. Like you can go to Choice Roofing Services and having run these scans and know that, hey, out of all the your three major keywords that you want to be ranking for, you're invisible. Like you're nowhere to be seen. That means every single search, every single lead, and every single roofing job within these keywords is going to your competitors. Like you're missing out on the entire market.
Yes.
That is that means that's translating to millions and millions of dollars for a roofing company in any given area. It's millions and millions of dollars that they're losing by not showing up for any of their keywords.
Yeah. And they're giving it away. And like, again, I usually like to mention in my name, like, hey, it's going to bold. It's going to, forget the name of something.
Tried and true. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, how do you feel that tried and true is getting millions of dollars of roofing jobs simply because they did a little bit better optimizing than you?
Yeah, it may not be a little bit, it may be a lot. It may, you have to really go. So one of the things that I see here is this website is extremely weak, right? You can see it was developed or designed, either by if it was recent, it was somebody who didn't really know what they were doing. It's, it's just really, really bad, right? Like this looks like it was done like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I call that the glorified business card website. It's we do blank, blank, and blank. Call us, basically.
It's obviously a ghost of a site. It's got these like pages like service areas, but then there's nothing behind any of this. Their service pages are one page, almost no content, right? So this is the reason why the Bold Brothers, I can guarantee you, like out of all the things that I saw today, the one big reason why they're in number 4 to number 7 spot throughout almost all of their keywords is because their website is so incredibly weak. And so this should be a great prospect because they're really easy to move. They've done well in reviews. They've done some good things on their GBP listing. They've got 10 years in business, whatever, right? But it's not translating to real business for them in any real tangible way or in substantial way because they're in spots 4 through 7. And so
just letting you know, Lane, we're coming up on time for me.
Oh yeah, we are. That's already 9. Look at that. Yeah. All right. Well, so hopefully this helped, just kind of give you guys a little bit more of a kind of a framework if you hadn't had one before of how I would approach it. Like if I want to go after a roofing company in a specific market or just want to try and acquire a client in a market, these are the things I'm going to do. I'm going to go in, look, see who the competitors are, look who's at spots 4 and 5, 6, and look at their website, look at their GBP listing, look at the deficiencies and weaknesses, put together a quick Loom video or meet with them in person or meet with them via Zoom, show them these things live, and then say, when do you want to get started fixing these things so that you can actually translate all these other great things you've done, all this work you've done, all this history you have in your company, but translate this now into actual real roofing jobs because you're going to be on page 1 instead of page 2 and beyond. All
right. We love you guys. I got a jet here. I hope you can do the little
Happy New Year. You guys all have a great day.
We appreciate you guys.
We'll see you next week.